in a couple of minutes, take your way over towards this side to participate. And if you're still working on the scavenger hunt, we got 3 slots left. 3 slots left for the winners. Yeah.
One second, Bryce. I'm about to get ready to start my event, okay? All right, it's live on YouTube. We're now live on YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at Coffee and Crypto Network. You can follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. You know, each subscriber is free. It don't cost you anything, but it helps us with everything. Don't forget that. So each subscriber costs you nothing, but every subscription helps us out. What up, what up, what up? I got some free coffee for y'all, man. Oh yeah, that's a movie. All right, family, we're gonna get started in 1 to 2 more minutes. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. He's off the down.
Okay. Wait, let me right here. Okay, turn it right. Other button, the big red button. Yeah.
Oh, Bryce. This is my sister.
Come on, me.
That's my sister, Bryce.
Has to be. Yeah. Right.
Oh, so right. All right, let's get it, let's get it. So we're about to get we're about to get this party started. I need for everybody, and I know y'all want to network and continue to network, but we gotta limit the amount of talking and we gotta get ready to pay attention. All right, so we're about to start up the podcast. We're already live on YouTube. And we're about to get it popping. All right, welcome to Coffee and Crypto pop-up live at Prevail Coffee Shop on North Druid Hills. All right, we live right now, YouTube, Twitter, everything is live. We live directly in full effect. We finna get to a J. It's on YouTube. I mean, we live on YouTube, Coffee and Crypto Network. All right, so we're about to get everything rolling. If y'all can hear the sound of my voice, clap once. You gotta do this for the adults. You gotta do this for the adults because they worse than kids. If you can hear the sound of my voice, clap twice. If you can hear the sound of my voice, don't even clap no more. Just pay attention because now we're about to get straight into it. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto Pop-Up Week. This is Crypto Week in America, and we're ending it the right way. How many people's excited about Crypto Week? Are excited? Okay, y'all people staying with crypto? Yeah. People sitting. Y'all sitting with crypto today, huh? That's all right. We got some people standing, some people sitting. That's a vibe, I say. So I'm definitely excited. I feel excited to be back in my event bag. It's been a long time since I posted my own events, but a little bit about myself. My name is Vincent Owens. I'm 32 years old. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, from Decatur to be exact. Grew up out here, went to college at Tuskegee. I have quite a few degrees. My highest level is a master's of science in public health. I left medical school to become an entrepreneur, got into cannabis back in 2018. Had a very successful cannabis business out in San Diego, California. During that time, I met some guys named the Crypto Nerds. They changed my life, introduced me to XRP. I bought XRP at the price of 14 cents the very first time I bought it. And we ain't looked back ever since. So it's definitely up and it's stuck, and we're excited to be here. So the purpose of today's event is to celebrate the crypto industry as a whole, right? We've gone through a lot. We've been through a lot as an industry, and we're looking forward to being able to advance, and continue to increase the policies, because we cannot get mass adoption without policy. And so we have some people who just got back from DC this week, who literally went all the way from Atlanta to DC to talk to everybody from the head down, from President Trump, JD Vance, all the way down. So you're going to be able to shake hands and rub elbows with some important people. Okay, so if y'all are excited today, I'm excited with you, and we're going to get started right now. So I'm going to ask my guy Ant to come on up, and we're going to get it rolling. Ant, you ready, bro? Awesome. You back it up right here. Thank you. So I appreciate you. Thank you, good, bro. I appreciate you, man. You deserve to do y'all. It's been a couple of days, and y'all had one hell of a week together. You and Marlon. Shout out to Van. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Marlon Williams. Shout out to Anthony Mathis. This right here is El Presidente. You know what I mean? Right here is El Presidente. He is the president of the Atlanta chapter, or the Georgia chapter, not just Atlanta, the Georgia chapter of Stand With Crypto, because Georgia is bigger than just Atlanta. Right? So we gotta be real, okay? But we are biased, okay? Can we just go about that one time? Yeah. Can we get my picture? There you go, right there. Absolutely. All right, cool. So, the purpose of today's meeting is to go over a couple of things. Now, Coffee and Crypto First off, before we get into the talk, I want you all to know that Anthony is serving as one of our lead advisors for a new startup company that we've created here within Coffee and Crypto Network. So Coffee and Crypto Network is the conglomerate. There's multiple businesses on the Coffee and Crypto Network. One of our businesses is we're in the business of coffee. Okay, so if you look behind me, can we just shout? How many people are enjoying the coffee today? Is it good?
Oh, yeah.
Can we just shout coffee out?
And
And I didn't even pay them to say that. I didn't pay them to cheer. So you know what I mean? So this is a live audience, right? But they're not paid to say that. I want to really give my hats off to Wade, Misha, and the entire Prevail Union team. There's 5 locations. They have got 2 locations here and quite a few locations in Alabama. So they have been expanding, and this will be the company that is, I will say, fueling all of the coffee that you all will be drinking with coffee and crypto. That will be, crypto inspired, fun for the investor, right? You're gonna love the name. You're gonna love the style. You're gonna love the stuff that we have coming out for y'all. So don't you worry. Just want to make sure we shout them out. I also want to make sure that I shout out the Atlanta Blockchain Center. If it was not for the Atlanta Blockchain Center, a majority of you all, I would say all of us would not be here in this room, right? Because we wouldn't even know each other, right? Unless we just found each other on Twitter, and then we wouldn't have had a community and a place and a space that was safe for us to hang out and do what we love to do, right? So that's another thing. It's a very special place. And if you all don't know what the Atlanta Blockchain Center is, I want to take time to edify what that is exactly, right? The Atlanta Blockchain Center is it is an oasis. That's the word I'll use. It's an oasis for vibrant and forward-thinking people, right? I believe that is a space where we are able to create and cultivate not just conversations, but businesses. We have some amazing Black-owned businesses that are coming out of the Atlanta Blockchain Center, and not just Black, but minority land, right? There's not just Black people, there's people from all over that are with us. But as a Black man, I am very proud, right, of the work that we're doing. That's why I was inspired to dive in even more. It is a little intimidating sometimes, especially when you think that you're doing something in crypto and you need a group of Avengers. It's like, do it one of the Avengers, or do I, so I just like, you know what, I gotta join the Avengers. You gotta formulate Voltron. So that's what we've done here, is we put this thing together, and now we have a just amazing collaboration. Majority of the people here, can we just clap it up for the Atlanta Blockchain Center? Cohort 6 just opened up. So if you are a developer, if you're a builder, and you don't have to know how to develop code, I don't know how to develop code, but I know how to develop ideas in my head. That's where Coffee and Crypto Coffee Co came from. This will be the first ever Web3 coffee company. Now I know we don't have packaging and things up yet. Don't worry. Like they said in life, it all starts off boom boom boom, right? Like Ray boom boom boom. It all starts in your mind. But we're bringing this thing into fruition. So be on the lookout for our next event. We will have some packaged items and things for you to purchase and to sample as well. So thank you all for coming out. The third shout out that we'll do before we start is Stand with Crypto. And I would speak on Stand with Crypto, but that's not my position. So I'm going to pass it over to my brother Ant Mathis. I think it's a great transition to allow him to get some face time.
Thank you. Y'all give it up for Vincent real quick, please. I want to just take a quick, few minutes to say that I actually met Vincent several years ago in an apartment complex. There was a business center, and I'd be in there early in the morning, late at night, or I'd be in a gym early in the morning, late at night. And on the other side of the room in the conference center, Vincent was on the other side, and he was louder than I was. And I was just like, man, who's this guy over here talking about crypto, blockchain, NFTs? And at that time, I think everybody was doing their own research, it's like 2021 or something like that. Yeah. We are so much further along than when we now than we were then, but I appreciate those times. And I'd be in the gym and I would look out and I would see him on his balcony with probably that same ring light. And I was like, man, he's up there creating content, or he's getting it in. I'm serious, like it'd be 1 o'clock in the morning. And then we end up at I'm at the blockchain center, and one day he comes in and here we are today. And it's crazy because it's not crazy. think about how he said, "Ant, let's get a podcast, let's get an interview on a podcast at the Blockchain Center." That was a couple months ago. And I know about coffee and crypto. And I asked him, I said, well, what's the overall goal for coffee and crypto? He said, I want to have my own brand. And with me being a president, staying with crypto and having some relationship with people and staying with crypto, just like the day before that, a guy in Alabama was talking to our national community director about these coffee shops. And in that conversation with him, I was like, well, I just had this telegram messaging about these coffee shops. And I was able to call the guy right there on the spot. Vince talked to him right there on the spot. And the guy said, well, what you want to do? And Vincent said, I want my own coffee brand. And the guy said, well, what you waiting on? And they got on the phone, and there's members of the blockchain center that's witnessing this, like, and he went to Alabama the next day. And he went through the whole coffee facility, and he came back with his own brand now, Coffee Crypto. You see how that works? That's amazing. You know, and I keep saying this, we're doing the right thing with the right people at the right time in the right place. So, with that being said, man, I love just to, like you said, just for someone to be able to take an idea out of their head and make it reality, that's special. Yeah. That's manifestation. All right. So it's a real thing. So, yeah, man. And I see him like the blockchain. So he's making commercials and like he's taking advantage of all this technology and he's making it work for himself. So, man, you're a great example, man. I'm just proud of you, bro. Straight up.
But that was like full circle moment.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you know, meeting you in that apartment, bro, you wasn't even in crypto then.
Yeah,
Like,
I was low key. I was really making sure that I knew what I was talking about.
You was over there doing stuff.
Yeah, and I was want to make sure that I know what I'm talking about.
That's crazy.
So we're listening to
Crazy.
Yeah. So with Stand with Crypto, I want to tell you a little bit about Stand with Crypto. You'll see a banner behind us around. I'm the president of the Georgia chapter. It's been about a year now. Stand with Crypto has been around for about 3 years, and there's 52 million Americans that own crypto. All right, and there's 2 million crypto voters across the country. And our whole goal with Stand with Crypto, as you can see, is purple. We don't get caught up on the red, the blue, the Democrat, the Republican. We have, we stand with crypto. We stand on it. And we want to make sure that, what's going on in Congress and the Senate and all that stuff, we're getting those messages and we're sharing it within our community because we need to know what they're working on, what they're trying to do. And then on the other side, we're in the community, we're the blockchain center, we got coffee and crypto, but we got to go tell them this is what's going on. And there's times where they may know what's going on, they may not, but it's our job to educate them. This is what we're doing in Atlanta. This is what we're doing at the Blockchain Center. We're building businesses. We have events every Thursday. We have a cohort, starting businesses. We're getting funding for these businesses. We're doing, and our voice is being heard. The Genius Act was signed yesterday. That's huge, y'all. That's huge. The Genius Act was signed. I know Marlon can come up in a little bit. Marlon was in DC with us this past week with Chris and Van. So, yeah, I'm thankful for the Stand with Crypto support, and we got so much more work to do. So, shout out to Stand with Crypto.
Shout out to Stan. Shout out to Stand with Crypto because last thing before we get into this interview, Stand with Crypto is the reason why this $100 Bitcoin scavenger hunt happened. And I know y'all probably like, well, as long as we have big show ups and turnouts, guess what? They're going to send more money. So these things will get bigger and bigger, right? It'll be more, but we have to start somewhere. This is our very first pop-up, y'all. All right. And the second thing is the 25 to 30 cups of coffee that each and every single one of you all, you have a selection to get. Some of you all are a little bougie. You say, oh my God, I want my pour over. Pour over, right? Like that's cool, right? But for the people who had the coffee, however you got it, we want to say thank you for support. Thank you for tasting. Thank you for loving it. And we're going to continue to bring y'all nothing but wildness. So let's jump into this. So we just had Crypto Week, and this would, I would say, would be the finale of Crypto Week, the ending. And we had a couple of leaders from the Blockchain Center. Now, Ant's been going up there for a while. Marlon's been going up there for a while. It seemed like they invited Chris last time.
Chris has actually been there,
Chris-
3 times himself.
Chris-
This is like a man.
This was Van's first time. So what I'm seeing is, you all are like, that's inspiring me, bro. You know, I'm gonna be honest, it's inspiring because, you know, it gives people that hope. It's like me, Trav, Joe was all sitting there, Tim was like, can they choose us? You know, like, we gonna go one day, right? But no, for real, everybody can't go at the same time. That's okay. Because guess what we did while they were working? We had our Thursday call, our Thursday event at the blockchain center ready. I was there setting up, Joe was setting up, Travis was setting up, right? So it's teamwork. And I believe, you know, what you all are really representing is just like, again, family, right? And I have a term that I like to use for family. Family stands for forget about me, I love you. Or forget about money, I love you, right? And I believe that the blockchain center, the family represents both of those. Forget about me and money, because
I got
I
goosebumps.
love you.
You're real.
So what do you think about that? Why did y'all create, like, you know, why did y'all create that type of environment and atmosphere, truthfully? You know, I mean, I know it may be a no-brainer answer, but you know what, I know, maybe I'm speaking for Marlon.
Yeah, I think,
Maybe I'm speaking for Marlon. Now,
Ladies and
Marlon-
gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to Bar Chef Marlon Williams. Come on up, sir. Yes, definitely. I think he's the best individual to answer that specific question.
Yeah,
Definitely.
right in the middle, sir.
All right.
And good morning, brother.
See you, man. Again,
Always.
oh, man.
Did you get a question or? I'm not
You
sure.
We are family because we spend so much time together.
I
you
mean,
know?
we don't leave the blockchain center on Thursdays till like 1 o'clock sometimes.
Seriously, yeah. It's like, you know, a few people came in and said it's like church service. You know, it could be like that. We're very passionate about what we're doing.
Trying to set up the stand with crypto here. I'm just making sure things are standing with crypto, you know, that's my whole purpose. But, so Marlon, I guess, so you went up to DC, well, I went up to DC. What, every state was not represented in DC, I don't think, right? Was every state, was there a representative from Stand with Crypto in every state? And why do you think that Stand with Crypto took a look at Georgia as one of their states?
Because this is where it's at, man, you know? The reason is because I mean, when we look at politics, we know that Georgia's a swing state, so to speak. And the same thing holds true for the efforts of Stand with Crypto. So the senators in Georgia in particular haven't sort of decided where they're gonna be in terms of the Clarity Act. And so our job was to go and remind them why it's important. So, you know, we didn't go up there for the purposes of promoting the Genius Act. You know, that was what you guys did in previous sessions, right? So the reason we're actually up there was to move the Senate, particularly Ossoff and Warnock, you know, towards the Clarity Act, because that one is still outstanding.
So the Genius Act has already been passed, right? Or it's already been voting on, or it's being voted on now.
Oh, it's official.
That's
now.
official. I just want to make sure, you know, I don't, because I know that you all, so it's all too, it's official, right? All right, cool. But then also the Clarity Act. So this act in the anti-CBDC Act. So how long do you all see it being, after being up there, how long do you think it will be before maybe the Clarity Act or the anti-CBDC Act? Do you think it'll be before the end of the year or maybe into next year?
Well, from what I understand, yesterday when there was the signing of the Genius Act, the goal for the signing, for the Clarity Act is by September 30th. And that's a reason why we went up to DC, was just to further that along and just make sure that Senator Ossoff and Senator Warnock, they were educated about the Clarity Act and knowing the importance of passing that along and how that's going to be a positive impact in our community and creating economic opportunities. Marlon, I would like for you to reiterate to those who are here, the conversation that you have with Warnock about understanding this technology and how this technology is going to bring jobs to this community. Because at the end of the day, it's about economics. Politicians, once they know that there's opportunities for jobs and we're creating jobs and we're fulfilling those jobs, then they're more open. And when I think Warnock and Huntsville started realizing that this technology is doing that, and we're educating the workforce of the future by going out to colleges here in the Atlanta area, we're talking to 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids. They realize that we're an important piece, educate kids out of college. Now they have these futuristic or these future blockchain jobs, and it's right here in Atlanta. So, and then that just keeps the economy, keep us at the top of the track and things like that. But Marlon had a really good point with Warnock. I would like for him to share.
Yeah, we had a really great conversation with Senator Warnock, and it was, it was easier because he's a Morehouse man. And so we connected on that, but we also went into the importance of the work that's happening in Atlanta and the blockchain crypto scene. So effectively what I said was, we have a long-term perspective on what we're doing here in the blockchain center and in the community, the blockchain crypto community in Atlanta. This isn't something that's, it's a very difficult task. It's not something that's done overnight. Meaning you don't build a community, you don't change the world overnight. It takes 5, 10, 15, 20 years. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite quotes from Steve Jobs is, it's funny how an overnight success, it takes 20 years to become an overnight success. Because what people see is, the end product of the work, not actually what went into it for so long. For me, I've been doing this for 25 years, software developer for a quarter of a century. And so, what I told the senator was effectively, whether they like it or not, the blockchain community in Atlanta will be the ones creating the next thousands and thousands of jobs. We're going to be the ones elevating the entire community over the next decade. We're going to be, and more importantly, we're going to be the next class of voters, right? And the Senate position isn't one that's term limited. So I'm pretty sure our senators and other reps are still going to be in office over the next decade when power kind of collaborates or collides from this room right here. And so it was a very effective message. He asked about meme coins and our perspective on meme coins. Like, how do you think about meme coins? And I told him what it is. I said, it's like it's the Vegas aspect of the space. And people make money, people lose money. More people lose than make it. And but one thing that I think he walked away with that, wow, there's that depth of one talent and people in my hometown that's in the blockchain space. And of course, I told him about the security aspect of it, being being targeted by North Korean spies and so forth. So that he kind of woke up a bit, knowing that national security is also at risk if the US doesn't come up with proper legislation. And so it was very effective meeting.
That's a point I was hoping to talk to you about here, honestly. And you kind of already hit it, but I think we can maybe go a little deeper. But the importance, right, of this policy, and I was watching your video. I don't know where you were, but you're in front of. We knew you were in Capitol Hill with the look of the building on the inside. But you were speaking on how we need this clarity and how we need these bills and these acts to be passed, because even you fell victim of over $1 million, right? And you all didn't know. This gentleman, I want to go back to that because he kind of sped through that point, right? But some people are not a part of the blockchain center. Some people, like my cousin and my friend and my sister, right? This is their first time. My cousin's over here and his wife. This is the first time they heard this. This gentleman was under an attack and got scammed, and he's been in this space for 25 plus years. That should let us know that none of us are safe. If he can't secure it, because even John McAfee talked about it in a couple of videos that I watched about with him being at the highest level, your security on your computer, McAfee, right? So even he talked about how these technologies may not be as secure at times. And also, it's not even has anything to do with security. Sometimes players mess up too. Sometimes you just keep depending on your slipping on your grip, right? That's what they call it. Hey, I just gotta keep it real. So how did that affect you? I just wanted like, because, we just went through mental health month for men. I believe that happened on during that month. How did you handle that? How did you get over losing $1 million+ plus? Cause that ain't $1,000, bro. I wouldn't even be here with that.
Well, it's actually, it's interesting because it's something that actually happened, about 3.5 years ago, over 3 years, yeah. It's just a case that I was working with the FBI on that I couldn't talk about. And so while we're building community, while we're, elevating the Atlanta ecosystem, that was something I was dealing with behind the scenes. But such is the burden of, disrupting the world. But look, I've been building a blockchain for officially about 8 years, actually building, but I've been in blockchain way longer than that. I found out about Bitcoin in 2009. I got more active in 2011, but really, I would say officially in 2013, when I left it was in Miami, I grew up in Miami, to do a startup, a Web2 startup, a software startup. And yeah, that's when I started telling people about Bitcoin, 2013, evangelizing it behind the scenes in Miami. But when Ethereum came out in 2015, that's when I started looking, into how do I build solution on blockchain, because Ethereum has a smart contract language, and I'll fast forward. So effectively, I worked with a group of guys who launched a blockchain in 2018, and I spent a couple of years, supporting the blockchain post launch. I built the wallet for it, helped with the foundation. And in DeFi summer 2020, around the summer of 2020, that's when Ethereum's DeFi movement really started getting popular. And I was trying to get the blockchain that I launched and the team to support Ethereum. They were going into the market as like an Ethereum killer as their main messaging, which I thought was a very bad idea. And so I started leaving, started exiting chain, and started building on Ethereum. And it was at that time that I met someone in Telegram that said, "Hey, we're looking for work." He actually came into the Telos group saying, "I'm looking for work." But prior to that, that's how we work with people in blockchain and crypto. Just real quick segue before I continue. Satoshi created and launched Bitcoin anonymously. Even to this day, no one knows who he, she, or they are. And so what that did was
you could be Satoshi.
what that did was it created a culture of anonymity in the space to keep it close to what Satoshi's vision was. So we built anonymous in blockchain for the most part. I mean, of course, there are a lot of public figures in blockchain, but I sort of say like the underground builders in crypto prefer to be anonymous. So I've been anonymous building in crypto for a long time. It wasn't a foreign concept to work with and hire developers who were also anonymous. That's how we built Telos. That's how we built a lot of stuff with Wax and other chains that I was a part of. And so, working anonymous was just part of the game. If you were underground crypto building, which leads into legislation and other things too as well, because we're sort of hiding our identity, not just for the cultural aspect, but the other part is security. We didn't want the government to come after us. And so I met this guy, long story short, I started giving him small tasks over time. Like, hey, I'm working with this DeFi protocol that I'm helping to build. You have time to help? It's like, yeah, so assigned tasks to him. That led into late 2020 when I decided to create a launch pad for crypto. We launched the second launch pad in the entire crypto industry. Today, there's a million launch pads, but we're OGs of the launch pad space. A lot of the launch pads that's out there, some of my code is under the hood because I initially launched it open source. And so when I decided to create the launch pad called Starter, we all know today Starter is the company who created ABC, sponsors ABC. I brought this guy in. I said, hey, this is what I'm gonna do, not doing these like, small projects, building a launch pad. And we worked together for, almost 2 years. Now, the interesting thing is, for those who don't know, what the parent company of the Blockchain Center does is, we help launch companies in crypto, but you have to have a token. So the last cycle, we launched 63 different projects in the space. And, Starter raised a little over $45 million through my platform. So imagine all, millions and millions of dollars flowing through our launch pad. And behind the scenes, I have a covert North Korean spy that had built my trust, and he's helping me, transfer money around. I would say, hey, we're gonna invest in this project, send, the $300,000 after we raised. So he would give the $300,000 out, send it to me, and I'll send it to the project founder, or 400,000, 500,000. I mean, there was absolutely no reason for me not to trust them. But in retrospect, that's part of their strategy. They're trained to work with you, build your trust until it's time to strike. And the reason he ended up making that decision to hack the company was because I was planning on getting rid of him, so he got wind of it. And so the gist of it is, I worked with anonymous North Korean spy for almost 2 years. He grew the trust of the company to the point where I promoted him to be my chief technology officer, which meant that he had the flexibility to hire his own developers who were also North Korean spies. They were well paid, spent roughly $30,000 to $40,000 a month on their salaries. So, in addition to almost $500,000 in salary, they hacked us for, close to 1.1 million. The FBI ended up working with me. I'm not sure if we're gonna get the money. I don't think that we are. It doesn't even matter anymore, really. We've moved on from
We're
that.
gonna get it back.
But the point of the matter is that it's very important for us to our head in the swivel in this space, because, I was a target because of having previously launched successful companies in blockchain. So they don't just target anyone. And so it's all sort of like divine how everything's coming together, because it is an incident that happened years ago. We opened the blockchain center, we kept pushing, building community, incubating companies, having all these amazing events. And then it comes at a time, the FBI unseals the indictment at a time when the community is just on fire. And we get into Wall Street Journal, we get to talk to ABC, Fox, and all these other places to kind of shed light on what's happening here, right? I feel like that story was a catalyst just to open us up for the attention to know what we're building. So that's happened. The country now has an official legislation about crypto. Another amazing one is coming. It's all meant to be this way. It's all divine, So I just see that as it's part of the game. It's part of the game.
Big time. Well, I love showing love. That's one of my things. And at the very end, so y'all don't let me forget this if I'm saying it, so I feel I forgot. I want to really invite up all of the projects, all of the music encounters that are in the room. It's not, I mean, everybody's not here, right? We heard how many, but for the ones that are live here and not traveling and things, we love to just give a word of like wisdom for the next person, right? I think we'll do that at the end. But I wanted to fast forward to another question I had. And Marlon, I wanted to say thank you. And I think that everybody should just say thank you publicly to you. We've done that most of the time, but it should be again, because I did not know that you were going through this for 3 years.
That's supposed to
I mean, yeah, but it just shows a level of personal development that everybody doesn't have. No matter your age, your creed, where you're from, you overcame and still overcoming so many hurdles. You're the true modern day, I would say Malcolm X, Martin Luther King in this space, right? I mean, you're traveling the world, you're leading, like, I look at it, what y'all did the other week was a Million Man March, and I would have stood there with y'all in DC and walked all the way through for my passion and purpose behind crypto. So, I definitely appreciate you, man. I know that we're coming up, probably to the time where we should take some Q&A, but my last question for you, man, is this. What is the future of Stand with Crypto? And what is the future of Georgia standing with crypto? Because you're the Georgia president, and even beyond you being, because one day you may not be the president for Stand with Crypto, Georgia, your duties may move to bigger things. What is your vision for Georgia in the future as the leader that you are?
That's a great question. It's a wild question.
Yeah.
Owen Rogers, I had a conversation with him last night, and he's like, "What's up, man? What's the alpha that I just got from DC?" And I said, "Man, we can do whatever we want to." And he said, "You didn't have DC to tell me that." And I told him, I said, "To be honest with you, Owen, I'm still digesting a lot of what has happened, over the last week. And a lot of my community members are like, I'm taking their perspective of it. Your perspective of what's going on is just important to me, if not even more than my perspective of what I see in the space. When it comes to me and what I perceive of myself, it's more important to me than what you may perceive. But when it comes to this space, I was telling Owen Rogers last night, it's like having conversations with individuals like you helps me with that vision. Just real quick though, the future of Stand with Crypto, the work's not done. Like I said, the Clarity Act, we still got some more work to do through August, September, from what I understand. And trust me, y'all, this political space, it's new to me.
Yep.
All right. A lot of people are like, this is you. I don't know this. I don't really like openly talking about politics and religion. I'm just telling you, I don't. But the reason why I'm in this space, and I told Marvin when they called me, asked me to be president, and he was in DC when they called me to ask me to be president, and I thought he knew about it, but he said he didn't know anything about it. He said, "But brother, if you feel comfortable with it, then take it and run with it." And I said, "Well, at the end of the day, as you can see, this is always ABC, and I rock with Stand with Crypto to take advantage of the opportunity and leverage for why I got into the space in the first place. Because I want to narrow that economic gap. I was around when I saw the .coms, I saw who got rich then, I saw who got left out. And just for me, I love our music, our culture, hip hop. We're in Atlanta. We already know what happens with. I see what they do to artists. Like they don't take care, they extract. So this space doesn't allow that extraction. So that's why it's important to me to learn as much as I possibly can. So we know that there's a lot of midterm, I guess, elections. That's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to preface that. So midterm elections, 2026, we got a new mayor. Well, they probably be voting on that again, or the governors that's coming up. So we're going to be active. And for me, in the very near future, is just seeing the impact of what we did just these last couple of months, especially last week, and speaking with Senator Warnock and Ossoff. We are influencing their decisions. And for me, I'm about to turn it up. We're about to go to the next level. It's not just me, it's this community. And I'm the president, but I tell everybody, so we're the president of Georgia. And anytime I get on a phone call or a conference call, Zoom, Google, whatever, with somebody who wants to meet with me and they get on a Zoom or Google call, they're like, "Who's all these people with him?" And I said, "This is my team. This is the team. Y'all want to meet with me, but this is the team." And I said, "I can't get this done unless they're with me." And then after I speak, I make sure everybody else shares. And then when those people get off the call, they say, "Man, we got to get to Atlanta and work with them." So in the near future, Stand with Crypto, I know that we got some more work to do. We're going into 2026. I'll stop there. And then as far as just the Georgia beyond 2026, like Marlon said, we have a model of top 10 and 5. Our goal is to be one of the top 10 blockchain centers in the world in 5 years. And we're 3 years into it. We got 2 more years. And for me, I'm paying attention to where we're at. I could say this summer, the last couple months, like Marlon said, we've been turning up the last couple months. And then with what has come out in the Wall Street Journal, us going to DC, we're leveraging these platforms. So in these next 2 years, that we can get to that top 25. And when we're in Atlanta too, we're cultural, we know our people, we know our energy. Everybody's watching us on TV for something, they're watching some of the movies, they're, you know, Kanye came here Mercedes-Benz, you don't know where else when he did his concert, Virgil Abloh, when he was going off-white. He came to Atlanta. They come to Atlanta for a reason. Stand with Crypto came to it was 25 chapters now, maybe 30. But when they started off, it was only 5, and Atlanta was one of those 5 chapters. Facts. And we had the most crypto voters in the country when they first got started, and we weren't even the biggest of those 5 states. So that just lets you know, like, if we got the most crypto voters, it's probably coming through the Atlanta Blockchain Center somehow. So the future, I would say, is we're going to continue on a high level. We're going to build businesses with people like Trav from Dap Hub, Joe Lewis from Skylark, we got Toon here. We got the Crypto Crew, Tron Gold. We got D-Web, Web Ties, Wealth Establishes Blessings to Inspire Earthly Souls. We got RichNet before. I don't know if some of y'all remember Belly, the movie Belly, and Ike Williams. This guy went from Morehouse. You see a lot of the dope videos that we got on Instagram. That's RichNet before, y'all. LaFleur Films, him the villain, they are killing it. And I told Marlon last night that I would like to, you know, we're working on some other projects as well for the country of Haiti, you know, and I think a lot of y'all know about the history of Haiti and the state that they're in. But I would like to see Atlanta Blockchain Center have an impact on creating opportunity for Haiti like El Salvador has with Bitcoin.
We are to go to Nashville. We headed up to right.
Yeah, so we're planting seeds for that. I'm just trying to see who else is in the room. We got hey Ashley. Ashley's one of our superstar artists. She's been part of our cohorts. We got Sarita Blakely. She has A1 Digital. A lot of the the fourth industrial revolution of books. It's a coloring book, but don't let that fool you. Adults need those books. My mom is in her 70s and she's coloring. All right, and that's where I get a lot of my creativity, anyways. But my nephew has the book. He's 9 years old. I want to give a shout out to my guy, Sire. He acted like he didn't want to come and show up with me today, but he had no choice because he's the future. I want him to know what we're working on. He has 3 crypto wallets. So let's keep tapping that up. Let's go. I'll read and but yeah, the future is bright and it's unlimited. Yes, we got somebody who wants to come up, Mr. Joe Lewis, to serve. Skylark.
What's up, everyone? I wanted to add on a point to what you were just talking about, right? The amount of people that own crypto in Georgia, actually, majority of those people make around $70,000 on average. So that speaks to the demographic of the people in Georgia that recognize this. It's for the demographic of the people in Georgia that own crypto are of the people, not necessarily of the super wealthy, right? So it's important for Georgia to get it right, because for the people at the end of the day, this is going to enable it for them to be productive into the future. So I just wanted to highlight an additional point.
And listen, we're gonna shout out everybody. I want to, before we finish, because I want to bring up some of our beautiful founders and people that may be in this next cohort, or just people period that are building in Atlanta. I really want to highlight you all just real quick and allow you an opportunity, because people should be inspired. People should leave here and know what tools they have access to in Web3. And there's so many coming out of Atlanta. But before we get out of here, I wanted to define and maybe talk a little bit about, Marlon also said that he felt like it was very important to talk about the 3 acts that is being, working on being passed up at what we call Crypto Hill now, right? It's no longer Capital, it's Crypto Hill. So what they passed over at Crypto Hill, right? No, they're not Capital. But the first one is the Genius Act. And and I'm sure we can go a little bit deeper, but to keep it simple, the Genius Act is the act that is helping with the stable coin structure here in America. That act out of 3, we are now 1 out of 3. Okay, so we're 1 in 3 right now. Okay, and I believe we'll be 3 out of 3 very soon. But we're 1 out of 3. What this does on the Genius side of things is this takes out. There are some stable coins out there that are not clear, right? Like USDC, Tether, and there's a lot of information out there on that, right? And we don't know if their treasury and things are necessarily what they say it is right now. I mean, they may have changed some things, but I know it's been a rumor. for years, okay? I believe the Genius deal will allow for, these companies that are behind stablecoins to actually be more, I would say have clarity as well, be more transparent. The anti-CBDC Act, which has not passed just yet, Donald Trump, President Trump, and also, quite a few governors, they have, went against, CBDCs. Donald Trump said we'll never have a central bank digital currency in America, right? We'd rather have the stable coin. So that I believe that that is just pushing that a little bit more forward, giving that clarity that we're not going to have at least a CBDC for the next 3 years until Trump is out of there, right? And the Clarity Act, I believe I understand, but I'm going to allow for Marlon to just let us know what the Clarity Act is, just to give us the clearance.
Yeah, those, it's a perfect explanation. I would add to the Genius Act that, you know, your funds could be frozen and seized. It's part of the requirements, to issue a stablecoin. And so it's, you know, part of the government's, quest to combat illicit finance. And then there's obviously other, provisions for maintaining a one-to-one backing with the US dollars, right? So every stable coin dollar needs to have an actual dollar to back it, or it could be US treasuries. And the reason that Congress loves this is because obviously, you know, there are sort of three categories in crypto as the model activity. Of course, you have Bitcoin dominance, DeFi dominance, but also stablecoin dominance. So that means just imagine if the top stable coins that are being used in the entire crypto industry are backed by the US dollar or US treasury, what does that mean for the country? That's why they love it, because it takes the dollar into the crypto, it keeps the dollar as dominant in the cryptoverse. So that's what the Genius Act really enables. And the Clarity Act means a lot to me personally because, you know, Starter, we're incorporated in two jurisdictions. We're incorporated in BVI, the British Virgin Islands, where that's the branch that does all the token sales and, you know, launches and so forth. Then obviously incorporated in Georgia intentionally so we could be Atlanta based. But we separated the company into two because the lack of rules in the United States would have allowed us to be subject to law by enforcement. Gary Gensler and the SEC could have come after my company. And so the Clarity Act helps that because now it allows anyone in the United States to launch a token and raise up to $75 million. Right? So I'll say that again. The Clarity Act lets anyone in the US launch a token from the US. You don't have to run and hide anymore if goes to other countries. And you can raise up to $75 million with your token sale. And it's going to be legit. If you don't need to register with the SEC for that, by the way, right?
Can somebody say wow back? I say wow back.
Don't need to register. Don't need to register with the SEC for that. But the second thing it does too is because, and I've witnessed this over the past decade plus, the CFTC and the SEC, they've been warring over who has jurisdiction over crypto. It's like, oh, is it a commodity? Is it a security? But now the Clarity Act provides clarity for that, right? They're classifying tokens into two categories. One is a commodity, and the other is a restricted digital asset. So the commodity, which is like anyone launching a token, as long as your goal is to decentralize the token over time, meaning it's not just owned by one entity, over a 4-year period, actually, then you're considered a commodity, right? So again, if you launch a coffee token and you raise $75 million,
Don't need to register.
you don't need to register, one, but two, As long, you have 4 years to make sure that it isn't a centralized entity, so that means you can create a DAO, governance, and all this other stuff. You have 4 years to do it. You don't need to register with the SEC whatsoever, right? Let's see. That's huge. Yeah. Right.
Got some time.
Showing off.
Yeah, we got some things. You can launch tokens.
I love when somebody say wow upside down.
Mom. But you know, those things are important, and you know, it gives the CFTC would have jurisdiction over these tokens in this category. But if you launch the token that has like security characteristics, like you're centralizing it, you know, if your company owns the majority of the tokens, then that's a security, and then you have to register with the SEC. But I think, you know, as long as you're gonna launch it, you have the intent to eventually be a decentralized entity, then you're very clear. And you know, that's a lot, because we don't think about it from this perspective, but when we've raised all that money in the last cycle, the last bull run, the majority of that capital, other than what went to, you know, my company, the majority of that capital went to international organizations. So that means, you know, we're not the ones receiving that cash to go into our businesses, right? So now we can redirect that money into the companies that are being based here in the United States.
And that pretty much brings us full circle with the first question that you asked in the first place. What was it about? Why did you create Atlanta Blockchain Center? This man wants to see us win because he's been winning. And he came to Atlanta and he's like, they are processing all these payments in Atlanta and they don't have a blockchain center. What was that 4 or 5 years ago? He said, I need to create the Atlanta Blockchain Center. He said, I need to raise all this money for businesses around the world that I don't even know. Let me create this blockchain center in this community. Let me meet these people, develop these relationships like he has been doing. And we're thankful for that. And when I build these businesses, and this money will go to businesses and the people that I know in those businesses. So he went from raising money for, like, yeah, you have your blueprint, your business plan, the people on your team, how long it's going to take you to do this and that. They fill the requirements, but they're on the other side of the world. You don't know what they look like. You don't really know what their real name is. And their business is going to be successful because he wants to make sure that they're solid businesses for the reputation and the credibility for a starter. So it's not nothing where it's like, he's serious. Like, he wants these people that he really don't know to be successful because this is his reputation. But now he's taking a step further and he's here in Atlanta. It's like, you know what? Let's go to Atlanta and let's meet and let's develop this community. And when this money or, you know, these projects start building, and like, once again, we're talking about the money, and the money is important. We need that to operate in this world. But the impact, the changing of lives, the legacies. Like, sometimes I just ask them, like, man, where were you at when you thought about the Atlanta Blockchain Center? Because I want to go to that same place and just sit there for a few minutes and see what I come up with. Like I said, it's a thought that he had in his head, and all these things come about. And it's just really cool to know that he said his goal for this next go around is to raise more than 45 million, raise $100+ million. And it's doable because every bull market, every cycle, super cycle, is more and more opportunities. And he said, I want that money to go towards the people that I can see, talk to every day, see what they're working on. So, Vince, I know that you had a question, you made a statement at the beginning, like, why? And I think, you know, what Marvin just said just now, and then just really what happened this past week in the passing of these laws and us going to DC, it's allowing us to do what he had as a vision. And sometimes I just be thinking, like, man, he might be part of the plan all along, and he's just playing it all out for us, and we're just catching up. But just to see that it's a lot of synchronicities that are going on, and you pay attention to the signs and just keep going and just keep operating and to stay humble and just make sure that you keep impacting the community, especially the kids. Right? Because that's the future and that's where we need to go with it.
Yeah, and I want to add something to that too, and I'll pass it back to you, Vince. I think, Atlanta is the specific payments capital of the country. So that means as we're swiping our cards here, coffee shop, there's just, I know we're in Atlanta, this holds true across the country. There's a 70% chance that that swipe is coming through infrastructure here. So that means Atlanta dominates when it comes to fintech, when it comes to payments as an industry. And, you know, it employs over 45,000 people in fintech. You see NCR, Global Payments, we see all the buildings down here. You know, Georgia Tech is one of the top engineering schools in the country. You know, some powerful HBCUs, Morehouse, Spelman, etc. If you look at other, you just go back to history for a bit and look at how previous ecosystems thrive, particularly the ones with strong technology. They always had a really great academic presence. They had a great corporate presence, large companies that they're employing people and giving them the capital to invest in their ideas. There were strong communities developing, and there's just a lot of experimentation and entrepreneurship and venture. So if you look at Atlanta, it has all these pillars that are necessary for us to build an innovation ecosystem. But the interesting thing was that no one was taking blockchain seriously. Meaning, when I say no one, I mean in terms of like the people who had the capital just to build something like the blockchain center. I'm not saying our community who were doing their own thing with the resources that they had. There's a lot of us who were doing our own thing with the resources that we had. But for the larger entities that had the resources to establish a physical space and to promote blockchain technology, no one was doing it. So the next question is like, why? Well, I come to the conclusion that, well, for me, I know I've worked in Web2, I've been trying to do startups, I've done a lot of startups in Web2 for a while. I was trying to raise capital. It was very difficult for a Black founder in Miami to raise capital for a startup. I struggled, but you had some breakthroughs here and there, but overall it was a very, very sort of like tough and difficult process. And when I started building in crypto, it was the complete opposite. It was like, oh, it's easier to raise capital in crypto. No one really cares what you look like, black, white, Hispanic, whatever. And so I doubled down on that. So then, again, I've come to the conclusion that the reason why no established institutional individual with the resources wanted to build a blockchain center is because when we win, we're all going to be balling, right? This is literally the path to wealth, to creating generational wealth for us. And it's much less biased than everything outside of crypto. And so, to me, it really explains why in the Black mecca of this country, blockchain was not going to be taken seriously. Because it will help you obtain wealth. And who wants you to obtain wealth?
Yourself.
Right? It's all of us here. Right? It's us. So they don't, you know, there's just a perpetual cycle of this. It's not me saying this, it's factual. You look back in history and you see the same kind of things happen over and over again. We're here to break that. And it's really the objective of the blockchain center, why we do all these events every single week for 3 years, incubated 24 companies with probably 5 or 6 more in pipelines, so maybe about 30. You know, so many activations, people stepping up left and right, doing their thing. You know, this is literally what happens before a boom. So get ready.
Yeah.
Ready, okay, yeah. Hey, all right, so, I just went to the concert, so I'm gonna give y'all that's happening, y'all gotta come to the next show. But no, I want to say thank you all so much, like, this meant the world to me, and, we definitely want to get out of Prevail's, out of their hair, we took over, we said we stood with crypto, really. I would like one thing from everybody, if at the end we can just go outside, a picture together.
Absolutely.
But before we get there, I have, it's so many, but I know we don't have a lot of time. So the first person, I have to call up the OG. You already know, big bro. Okay, you mind coming with crypto crew, the crypto crew, the whole crew.
Yeah.
The whole
We
crew.
were-
The whole
Crypto crew, Travis,
everybody. That's the crypto.
Rich and Ed,
That's everybody. That's the whole.
Sabrina, Joe, please, come on up here.
And we just wanted to show off this talent. You know, we have Teron, this is Teron Gold. You know, Mr. Teron Gold is a Web3 journalist, you know, and podcaster and content creator. Man is a powerhouse, and he is fueling the Atlanta area. I wanted to edify him and allow him to tell you a little bit more about the crypto crew and how you all can get involved in what he's doing.
Get your phones out, y'all. Get your phones out.
Vincent, man, thank you, man. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for this event, man. It's a great turn.
Make sure y'all follow on social media.
How y'all doing? My name is Ron Gold. I'm a Web3 journalist and graphic designer. And some of these shirts that you guys see, one that I'm wearing, Rich and Ed, I designed that too. So yeah, man, that's what I do. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for enlightening the community and bringing crypto and coffee together, because I love coffee too. I gotta get one of the tickets too, because I gotta get my cup of coffee. But I want to give a big shout out to Joe. His name is Joe Lewis, but I call him Just Cheese. You know what I'm saying? That's his nickname. He is the co-host of my podcast, TCK Web3 News Roundtable. We do that every Sunday at 4:20 on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And my other co-host, NFT, she's out of town right now, but she's a part of our crew too. So I gotta big up Ant. He is the president of the Georgia chapter of Stand with Crypto. We got Trav from that hub. We got our guy, man, D-Web, man. He's a rapper, but he low key. He got
Man, that's just one section of what he does.
That's right. But he's a trader. He trades in crypto. So, man, these are some phenomenal people. And this is the community that has supported me, along with Marlon Williams. You know, these are the people that supported me on my journey. And I'm gonna just tell y'all like this. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for the Atlanta Blockchain Center. And man, the support that I've got, I just tell y'all, if y'all new to the space, just come up there on Thursdays. We got sessions and we learn about all different aspects of Web3 and blockchain. So feel free to come up on Thursdays, 6:30, and that's at 45 Old Ivy Road in Buckhead. So yeah, come to Atlanta Blockchain Center. And again, Vince, thank you for this. Thank you. This, I appreciate it.
You got a website that people can go and get
another
news,
website.
like social media
Yes.
stuff.
Oh, by the way, thank you for that. The name of my website is thecryptocrew.com. So you can go there, check out what's going on in the crypto space. You see some of our photos, see some of our videos, and yeah, you can get informed of what's going on in this space. You know, on top of that, if you want to get some of the cool Web3 merch, you can go to IGetBusy.com and get you some cool shirts, sweaters, and other Web3 merch that I got, y'all. But appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Hello everyone, my name is Travis Sherman. I'm the founder of Dapper Browser. I just want to say thank you again to Popping Crypto, to Stand Crypto as well, and the entire Blockchain Center community. Very much like everyone else here, I don't know where I would be. I probably wouldn't be in Atlanta if it wasn't for me reading Marlon Williams my senior year at Morehouse College. Just the community here has been amazing while I've been good at that, but I'm literally one of the founders here that built startup at the Blockchain Center as a solo founder. But even as a solo founder, I felt the community would always be feedback, help, AI, everything that you guys need to do business is happening on Blockchain Center. As for DAPA, we are a browser built to allow people to explore all of crypto safely. And so that's why we built our browser, our website, for DAPA.xyz, and our socials, Instagram, TikTok for all of our content. We keep about crypto as well. It is at DAPA as well. And LinkedIn to the DAPA_XYZ. And you have to sign up to be a part of the DAPA browser and actually start using it via DAPA.xyz. Thank you all so much.
Shout out to Dap Hub in the building. And if you all want to know more about Dap Hub, you can on Coffee and Crypto Network on our YouTube channel. You can literally type in that plug, and we did an exclusive interview with this gentleman as well to dive deeper into the technology.
What's up, everybody? I'm Darren Webster, also known as D-Well. Oh yeah, first and foremost, great event. Love crypto and coffee. Shout out to and with crypto. Shout out to Atlanta Blockchain Center. Not to be redundant, but I'm also like very grateful for everything they've done for me. Like they became my family, and this is the place you want to be. The future is here, so with the Atlanta Blockchain Center, we basically just showing them the holy grail to the future. But yeah, I'm Gary Webster. I got a brand called Red Ties. It breaks down to wealth, establishes blessings to inspire earthly souls. So, we're just trying to help people, onboard people to, this new technology, because if we don't, you're gonna get left behind.
Hold on. Right. All right, D-Web, you know how artists have just been dropping music? Like, you wake up in the morning, they got a whole new album out. Who's done that lately? Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar? They just wake up and what's a whole new album?
This guy.
D-Web, we woke up one morning and he dropped a whole album on us called Forever Encrypted. And he has songs on there like Rich Off ETH, which is the theory, which is the timing of that song right now. We just had a topic last Thursday where we were talking about Ethereum is the new oil. Is that what we were saying? Yeah. And
Great event.
when you get a chance, just go to Apple, go online and check out D-Web Forever Encrypted. And I sat in the drive one night just went through the whole album like twice. Just to know him, and it's cool to know somebody and listen to their music and know them and know that what he's speaking about is actually truthful and it's real and it's relevant. And he's in this space and he's talking about, you hear people talking about, for the love of money, and then all about those terms are going to change in the future. They're not going to be talking about it's all about the vision. They're going to be talking all about the Bitcoin, baby. I'm serious. You see the dollar bill sign that's tattooed on some people or shirts. It's going to be Bitcoin songs. I'm honest, it's going to be in the music, so the kids are going to be calling it something different than what we were hearing in the 90s and early 2000s. And he's the perfect epitome of that. And what better place for it to come out of than Atlanta? You know what I'm saying? So super excited for what he's about to do. I don't even think he knows what he's about to do with it, but it's all right though, because we got to see it for others when we can't see it for ourselves. And I appreciate everyone to see it for me when I don't see it for myself.
Thank you for that, and thank you guys all for coming out today. Give you guys give yourself a round of applause. My name is Joe Lewis, and I'm the founder of Skylark. Skylark is an engagement platform, so for brands, communities, creators, it gives them different ways to engage their audience, and you can build different quests. And like we participated in today, we've placed QR codes around the space here, 4 different QR codes for people to participate and do these quests. What you have the ability to do is we have one quest that's configured around how Vincent and I talked about how he fell in love with coffee. And he told me about the community aspect that really came from being there and utilizing the coffee as that centerpiece for engaging with his audience on a daily basis, right? And that story was retold through some of these QR codes in here, right? So it's a way of really extending your brand and bringing your audience in closer. So definitely check out the QR codes. We got one more person that's able to win. 9 people have won so far. Part of the $100 Bitcoin. But
$90 already going.
$90 already going.
Start scavenging.
But yeah, man, overall, my experience at the blockchain center, A1, because I wasn't there from the open, but I came about 6, maybe 4 months after it opened. But I haven't left since. Every week, that's where I get my energy. The energy that you see in this room today is exemplar of the energy that happens at the blockchain center every Thursday. So this really keeps me going, right, on a weekly basis. I look forward to seeing everybody and building with everybody, getting all the education. So again, thank you guys for all coming out tonight, for today. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, good afternoon,
Good
everyone.
afternoon.
My name is Richard LaFleur, call me Richard for short. We want to say shout out to Marlon, Sound Crypto, Bitcoin Coffee, and everyone that's in today. For me, I am a content creator, but I do more than content creation. I consider myself an educator, I also trade, and I also am a big from Maxi, so with that. And also to Morehouse College, graduated class of 2020, so during the pandemic. And from my experience, the Atlanta Blockchain Center, I would say it's very great place to be. It's an organization that I consider everybody to be part of because you'll learn and also be around people that's trying to inspire the world. And me being part of this organization, they allow me to expand my education, share the wisdom with people because if you're not wise or understand how to move in this earth, you'll lose.
Yes.
And then also, just want to make sure that the world get better because the world not getting easier for us. With new technology that we have in blockchain can make the world a lot easier. And one of my goals is to change Haiti. I believe Haiti can become the next big nation. It already is, but it's a lot of statistics and things that's going down. But at the end of the day, we're here to educate, show love, and just leave the world better.
Wow. Lately, last but not least, absolutely.
My name is Sarita Blakely, and Joe said his experience here is A1. I'm A1 Digital co-founder, and literally A1 Digital would not be what it is today if it wasn't for the online blockchain scene. So essentially, yeah, it really was. So when people ask us like what we do, so thank you for supporting the books. I'll talk about like the materials, but I'm gonna tell you the big picture. So we create educational materials. This is one of them. This is a flip activity and coloring book. It centers around everything from AI to crypto to blockchain. And every time I turn on the news, I see something related to this book. I get text messages from people all the time, like, I don't know why I bought your book, but when I watched the news this morning or I went out and saw something, it all connects back to this book. We are selling them over there for $20. But when people ask, like, what do you do? Like, why are you always up there? When I moved from Nashville in November of 2024, and I really didn't know what I would be doing with ABC. I just knew that he told me we needed to be at ABC, right? So I was like, okay. But we go to schools, community centers, we go into homeschool communities and all kinds of anything kind of dealing with youth, and we educate through books and through you see all these people that just came up here today and talked about what they do. All of these people grow with us. We literally go into these schools deep and we break up and we teach these topics to youth. Most of the time we go into like underserved communities where this is not a household, they're not sitting at the dinner table talking about this. Okay. I was just at a community center a couple of days ago because we do want to partner with them. And the first thing they said, they were like, first, we don't even know what you're talking about. But the kids are talking about this stuff, right? We're behind. So let's have the conversation. And that's what it's about. So this is not the time, you guys, to move solo. This is the time to move as a community. And that's what ABC is. Again, I always say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Like this man, literally, we live in the same county. I said, meet me at the coffee shop. This was like January-ish. I said, listen, this is what we want to do. And he said, let's go. We have been moving since then. And when I say we move, when I call these folks, you all, they come. This is not like some fluff of, oh, I'll see you, let me look. No, they're like, what's the date and what's the time? And we're rolling up. Never seen anything like it. I was at home for a few weeks and I was away from this community. It was like having a withdrawal. Okay? That's how serious it is. It's only the beginning, but when I say ABC it's been like the pulse of what we do, and we're just so appreciative, and we're just gonna keep on going. All right.
Man, this was a great turnout. I really appreciate y'all. Like for real. Like I think that we have some good content to get back to the White House, staying with crypto, all the big people. Again, I want to say thank y'all so much. I hope that you were inspired today. I would say that everything that you all have seen, and there's some other builders in here that didn't get the opportunity to talk, right? So it's a whole community of builders. I want to give one special shout out to my mom. I want to say thank you so much. All my family that's in the building, my girlfriend's here, son, is up top, maybe Bryson. Also want to shout out my cousins that's in the building, his wife, also my cousin Chris. Everybody's in the building. And then also two of my real, he outside. Yeah, always doing something. They never just have freaking frat in the building, man. At the same time, you freak, the frat on frat here for you know what I mean? Hey, come on, freak. Frat here. All right, cool. So I want to shout out two of my best friends as well that came through, man. I mean, these guys right here, they'll hold me down. I think this is my security right here. We get rich, we all, what I mean? These my security and brothers. And then my head of security is Big John right here. But also some real things. John is he is the DeFi strategist. He's a head of DeFi at Coffee and Crypto Network, right? So everything we teach in DeFi, we have a 6-week boot camp that we do. We have another one coming up on the 28th. This will be our 6th cohort as well, on the 28th. And we're really excited. We help people go from A to pay. I would say that Coffee and Crypto Network is the premier onboarding experience for all things Web3. So rather we know how to teach you, we know somebody that does, and we can connect you to them through our network. So make sure you follow us on social media. Enjoy the amenities. Everything is connected here with Prevail. I want to say thank you so much to Prevail Coffee Union. They did an amazing job. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. And also, we want to say thank you to the facility as well, the Grind House, for hosting us here and allowing us to really stand with crypto and have a crypto takeover on this beautiful day. So y'all enjoy it, and we'll see y'all and keep y'all updated on the next event. Peace.
Just a reminder, we got one more winner still pending. If you already won, come and see me. If I giving you a paper, come and see me, and I'll give you your Bitcoin. We got one more winner pending there.
Just sign up.
All right.
Hey, family, real quick, before y'all go that way, hey, everybody meet in the front of the coffee shop this way. We're gonna get one group picture.
All right, well, I'll head out front for a new picture
Right,
where everybody heads out.
right. Uh-huh. Really?
No, because we got people that thanks you. Appreciate you coming. Yeah, sure.
Uh-huh. Yep.
All right, y'all, let's go out front here. We're gonna take us a group
I
picture.
gotta get my face if I look together, honey.
Joe, Trav.
Oh, you already know, we have to, almost 50, we have to keep our lips together.
No, I gotta put on my little lipstick. Let me go put it on before I come back.
Picture out front.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, good.
Are we going to share the money?
Well, you know, I.
What I put in the meter, I went through it. I've done this.
But you know what those really takes versus the design. Yeah. I'm not being stolen, I really feel like I'm playing a game, like I'm doing.
Right, but this gives you the good thing here, like the five, like you got like, give you some state.
Yeah, right, get the podcast, yeah, and we had all the cameras and went live on YouTube. It's actually on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. I put the whole thing on there, so